What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of DSM Pregame Live. Eagles, Commanders, division lead on the line. Primetime Thursday night football just over 2 hours away. The 7-3 Washington Commanders come to town to take on the 7-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Jaden Daniels versus Jalen Hurts. Zach Ertz homecoming. A lot to get into, Scotty. Guys, as always, if you are new to the channel, if you're watching on Twitter, do yourself a favor, do us a favor. Make sure to first and foremost follow us on Twitter and all social media platforms, but also check out the link tree in our bio. It will take you to every social media platform that we are on, more specifically the YouTube channel, and it's the best and only spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up here on the screen with us. I'm one half of your host, as always, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty, my man. Happy Thursday, and I just have to say, for all the juice that Dallas week was lacking because of the injuries and because of the records and everything, tonight's matchup, these two teams are more than making up for it right now. And making up the slack, dude. I am amped for kickoff tonight.
I haven't even had time to process the juice in this game, man. Like, it's been so fast with this being a Thursday night football game. I haven't even had time this week, I feel like, to even acknowledge how hyped this game really is. And I don't mean to say that it doesn't have the hype. I mean to say that I've just been busy as hell. This week has flown. And here we are on Thursday already. It feels like these Thursday night games come sooner than you can believe. So I'm happy to be here with you tonight on the show, obviously breaking this down. But we know what's mostly important here. It's what these guys put on the field tonight. And I'm coming in with very high expectations, not only in this game alone, but also in the season as a whole, man. I think we've hit I don't want to say the peak because I think we got room to grow. I think we can go higher than where we're going or than where we're at right now. But we are starting to hit that stride, and I'm starting to get more and more confident each and every week. The weaker part of our team isn't really the weaker part. It's actually the higher ranked part of the team compared to the offense. So I'm feeling really good going into this matchup, but it's going to be a really good test as well, man. Quarterback especially, right? So
it's the biggest test of the year. It's the biggest game of the year at this point. And I love that you brought that up because today does feel very businesslike for me because over the last few weeks, we've just wanted to see progression and growth and look for them to get some of those bad habits and Nick Sirianni stay out of the way and protect the football. And we've been going through this roller coaster of just wanting to see this team get back to our expectations for them. And now tonight feels like we're there, and it feels like a night for them to showcase on national television. Well, Amazon Prime, excuse me. For them to showcase to everybody that they are legit, that they are a legit contender in the National Football League and in the NFC. And the part that annoys me, because doing this, we're not media, right? We're not credentialed. We have a podcast, right? But it's all the same. And it's like the media who loves to get on our nerves has done a complete 180 when it comes to this Philadelphia Eagles football team. Because while they were 2-2 and they were 3-2 and hell, even 4-2, and we as Eagles fans, you and me, come on here on the show and we have criticisms and we have negatives and we're watching Nick Sirianni not get out of his own way. And we have things that feel like holding this team back. And everyone else is saying, guys, your team's 4-2. Cut them some slack. This is a damn good football team. And now they're 7-2. And now they're not in the same category or tier as the Lions. They can't win the Super Bowl. They might not even beat the Commanders tonight. They've played nobody. And that's what I'm starting here. That's what's on my Twitter feed all this morning. And clicks, views, I get it's part of their job, but damn it, it's working for them, Scotty, because they got under my skin. And I dug into the Washington Commanders on Turf Talk with you the last two shows, and I talked about their strength of schedule and how they haven't beaten anybody. And we're going to see these two teams collide in a few hours, man.
Yeah, no, you're not lying, man. And it is one of these games where we get to answer the call. And I've seen the doubt. It's why I brought the question to the Turf Talk show on Sunday. It was either Sunday or last Thursday
Yeah,
but,
Sunday.
just ask them to think about it, because while they think about it, we know it, and that's that the Eagles are in the class of the Detroit Lions.
Correct.
In the NFC, in the NFL, they are in the class in the NFL, and that's what I'm excited about tonight for them to prove. It's funny you say all of this, man, because I actually mentioned a guy from ESPN because I got on the ESPN app. I went to look at the stats. I wanted to see where the Washington Commanders rank, all of that jazz. I get to the preview, right, and it's Tyler Fulgham. He's one of their betting guys. He's one of their cappers. Okay. And he says that he's picking the Commanders to win tonight in Philadelphia because the Eagles are known to drop games. They're known to play down to their competition. And ultimately, the Commanders may have the best quarterback in the game. That's what was said. Not the best. Let me take that back. That kind of misconstrues the better quarterback in this game.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to say. He actually commented back to me on Twitter, and I just saw it. And he comments back, bro, because I said this. Laugh out loud. Tyler Fulgham picked Commanders win because the Eagles are, quote unquote, known to drop games. 2-loss team is known to drop games, but the 3-loss team knows how to win on the road in hostile environments with a rookie quarterback and division reigns on the line. Laugh out loud. And he comments back to me and he says, known to play level of opponents. Philadelphia Eagles 5-4 at the spread this season. Washington Commanders 8-2 at the spread this season, best in the NFL.
Right.
Does do who they play not matter at all about the spread?
Here's the contradicting part here. So you're admitting that the Eagles are superior to the Washington Commanders. If they play down to their competition, and that's why you're predicting a loss tonight, you're admitting that the Eagles are the far better team, and it scares you that they might play down to the level of Commanders, but that's not the sentiment around his company. The sentiment around the analysts at his company and probably is that Jaden Daniels and the Commanders can win this division. They're a damn good team. And so what is it? Right? And the other thing, listen, man, I've seen the schedule talk today. I've seen we've beaten nobody. The Green Bay game suddenly doesn't count because it was way back in week 1, as if the two teams weren't both playing their first game of the year. Look, I know the record's not there. They talked about the quarterbacks we played. Joe Burrow's in the fucking MVP conversation, and this Eagles defense went on the road while the Bengals were actually playing probably their best ball of this short
with Jamar Chase.
So far.
Yeah.
And shut them down and shut Joe Burrow down under 20 points. I believe the Cincinnati Bengals finished at 17 that game. So you can't have it both ways. If you're going to nitpick at the Eagles schedule, which is fine. They beat up on Daniel Jones. They beat up on Trevor Lawrence, right? They just beat up on Cooper Rush. I get that. But it's the same thing I pointed out when it comes to Washington. The difference is the Eagles have a head coach that has been in place, no matter if we disagree or agree with him, have been in place for 4 years now. Made the playoffs the first 3 years. The quarterback, the same thing with this head coach, have a Super Bowl appearance. So the difference is between these two teams that have a favorable schedule is one team has a history of success and one team is 10 weeks old.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
And the funny, and before we get into the actual talk about the game, because we're just talking about narratives right now.
Juice, brother.
It's the juice, right? It's the hype around the game. This is what it's about. And it's so funny, and once again, we are not putting the cape on for Nick Sirianni on this show. It's not happening right now. But let's not forget the way Dan Quinn and this coaching staff in Commanderland is being talked about. Like, did Dan Quinn not get fired from the Atlanta Falcons just a short time ago and have to revert back to defensive coordinator for the Cowboys? Did Cliff Kingsbury not get canned in Arizona and have to revert back to offensive coordinator with the Commanders? Like, did Brian Johnson not get canned last season in Philadelphia and end up with the Commanders? Like, this all-American coaching staff, this all-NFL coaching staff that has been fired and let go from everywhere they've been. Like, okay, sure. And the other thing, man, I know we're going to get into the actual game. I just want to say this off top, man. All this talk about Terry McLaurin, let Quinyon Mitchell guard that man all night, and I want to see what he does tonight. I want to see it. If he can cook Quinyon Mitchell, he'll prove me a believer, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe that if Jamar Chase can't do it, Terry McLaurin can. I don't believe it, and I don't care what Commanders fans think. Terry McLaurin is a great wide receiver, by the way. But we are working with a different level of secondary coming into this matchup, man. But let's get into the game, though. Let's get into the actual schematics of the game, man. Let's go.
It's funny because I feel like we get on here and we always talk offense first. It's where the money is. It's where the stars are. People, it's sexy. People want to see the 30-plus points. I get it. Is tonight a bigger testament to the defense? Because we're going to talk about the offense, obviously, when we get to our keys, and we're going to talk about how bad Washington's run defense is and how that not only can favor Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and open everything up, but also can take a page out of Pittsburgh's playbook last week in Washington and clock manage this game and keep Jaden Daniels on the sideline because his defense can't stop the run. We're going to talk about that. But this Eagles defense, it's a defense that even I myself sit back week to week and go, am I fully sold?
Are they this good?
Am I 100% sure that they are top 3 in this and top 2 in this and top 5 in this and just so on down the list, allowing under 18 points per game over the last 5-game winning streak? Are they that good? You're going to find out tonight. You're going to find out against a quarterback that's finding himself in Rookie of the Year, leading the Rookie of the Year conversation. You're going to find yourself finding that out in a team that's posted, I believe, 27-plus points in their last 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to start. Because what is your biggest key, Scotty, for Vic Fangio and this defense to slow down Jaden Daniels? Do you want to make him a pure pocket passer tonight? Because you can't allow the creativeness and the legs to start to flash and start to show. And on 3rd and 4, you lock down every assignment in the secondary, but there goes Jaden Daniels scampering for a first down.
Right.
What is your key to stopping him and getting off the field?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that specifically because I think my key there, first of all, is one, just taking away his favorite options, right? Like I said, Quinyon Mitchell needs to be on Scary Terry all night long. He needs to follow him around. I know the Eagles won't do that, and it is kind of weird to even say that when you have Darius Slay opposite, right? But Quinyon Mitchell has proven that he is CB1 when it comes down to specifically locking wide receivers down. He might not have the big play title yet, right? Catching the interceptions, but he gets a hand in there and he does his job, and that's what I'm looking for from him tonight. So it starts there, right? You throw Quinyon Mitchell on him. If you have to double him, do it. I don't care. Take Terry McLaurin away and make Noah Brown beat you and Olamide Zacchaeus. And the other thing is Zach Ertz, man. You go down the list. Who's next on the totem pole? One, Zach Ertz. It is crazy how far down my list of favorite Eagles he's fallen just by being on the Commanders. Like, not even being like a big factor in the Commanders' success. Like, he is their second leading receiver, but that's not saying much when you look at their stats. Just to see him in those colors, see him perform for that team, it just grosses me out, man. It's like if LaShawn McCoy went and suited up for the Commanders specifically, right? Like, or the Cowboys. Like, it will make you sick. But nonetheless, I'm throwing Cooper DeJean on Zach Ertz, and I'm not letting him touch the ball. So that's my first sense. I'm throwing our rookies on their best players. Make that make sense, but that's where this secondary is at right now. And what I'm doing with Jaden Daniels, man, I will say this. I do worry about our edge rushers setting the edge. They need to be hyper-focused on that tonight, right? It's not even really about getting to the quarterback for a sack. It's about setting the edge so he can't get out of the pocket. But the other thing that I would try is to have Zach Bond spy on him at times tonight, man. I would have him keeping one eye on Jaden Daniels at all times. We know the energy that Bond plays with. We know he can get all over the field. And I have a feeling that he could slow Daniels down from the scrambling in the run department. I really think that Zach Bond could. The other thing, and I think this is probably the most important thing, shut down the run. Brian Robinson gets nothing tonight. That's the biggest thing.
I gotta say, man, I think it's such a good point because it bothers me that they've been able to run the ball. Maybe it's a testament to the dual threat quarterback. It's a testament to that the offensive line is a little bit improved. But Austin Eckler finds his way there, on a cheap deal later in his career after not being utilized enough with the Chargers last year. He's the second guy. Brian Robinson Jr., I mean, he was the second guy a year or two ago behind Antonio Gibson. These are not – this is not a talented offense on paper. It's just not. And again, that is a I guess backing statement to how good Jaden Daniels is and has been. Because he's doing a lot with not too much. But you went down the threats. Noah Brown, an aging Zach Ertz, Olamide Zaccheaus, guys we just don't know beyond that. And you can't let them come in and beat you. The other thing, you talked about a spy on Jaden Daniels. I 1,000% agree. But the other thing is going to come down to technique and how Vic Fangio decides to rush Jaden Daniels. And what I want to see rushing Jaden Daniels. And don't get me wrong, when he climbs a pocket, a hole can always open up on his left or right, and he can climb and make a throw downfield. Yeah. But get behind him. Yeah. I want this has a lot to do with the defensive ends and the edge rushers. Yeah. Yeah. I want a semicircle drawn around the pocket. Get collapsing on Jaden Daniels. Don't let him escape out towards the boundaries where now he can create,
especially to the right,
run option. That's especially where the extending of plays is going to come. Make him climb up in the pocket and deliver a strike downfield where Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean and company might be a step or two. Just make him climb and deliver the football. Don't let him out and use those legs too often. You know what's going to happen. Oh, great quarterbacks find ways to make plays, but don't let it happen too consistently tonight, especially
third downs.
On third down. 1,000%, man. I'm going to lose it if they just continue to give up third downs.
Because you know what the plan should be. We know what the plan should be. Sirianni, Vic Fangio, they know what the plan should be. Execute. This is a huge game for the edge rushers. To simply do their jobs. So I do agree wholeheartedly with you there. I want to take it to Sirianni. I want to take it to Sirianni before we go offense. And you heard my long pause because Nick Sirianni is confusing as hell. He's confusing as a head coach. He does have this arrogance about him. When things go wrong, you fucking hate him. And it's whether you're an Eagles fan and you hate him when it goes wrong for you, or you're an opposing fan and you hate it when it goes wrong for you, he's annoying, right? When he's on the opposite side of you, he is annoying. He wins games. He leads his football team to wins. All I'm asking for Sirianni tonight is just stay out of the way, man. Call timeouts when you're supposed to. Kick field goals when you're supposed to. Don't lose the identity, but be discretionary with the fourth down, going for it on fourth down, that type of stuff. If it's 4th and 1, do it. 4th and 1, sure.
Right. Whether we find the man likable or not, I think the character part of Nick Sirianni is gone from the equation. Because I think that was in the conversation at the end of last year in Tampa Bay. Did this team give up on him? Did they quit on him? And we get frustrated, and the media gets frustrated. Do the players get frustrated with his corniness and everything? I think that part of the equation's out of the way. I don't know what he's like, man. I see some of these clips. They're great. The players seem to like him a lot. Yeah. They seem bought in. They seem together. They seem to back Nick Sirianni vocally and on the field right now. That part's gone. It's all about what you said. Because, the players might like him, but if he consistently continues to take off fucking 5 points and 6 points and 9 points away from your team and putting them in harm's way, those are the controllables. Yeah. And that's where he just has to get better. Jason Kelce was on, I don't know if it's WIP or where he was talking about it, but he was talking about how, people question, what does Nick do? And he thinks that's a growing thing among head coaches now. When you look at Dan Campbell, similar, where he's not a play caller, what do they do? The difference is other head coaches, they might be aggressive. Dan Campbell's damn aggressive. He's not taking 9 points off the board. Yeah. He's not yelling at his own fans. He's not he's not leaking injury news
Yeah.
to reporters.
Nick Sirianni does not know how to communicate with media.
Yeah, and that's the problem. So to your point, stay out of the way because this is a huge matchup.
Yeah.
Under the bright lights, prime time. Do not be a conversation point on our podcast tomorrow, man. If we don't have to talk about Nick Sirianni, that is a successful
great
Nick
day.
Sirianni.
I love this comment right here. It will be our game to win or lose. And that's exactly how I feel. It's how everyone feels. They just don't want to say it. If you're saying that the Eagles are going to lose because of Nick Sirianni or because Dan Quinn and his coaching staff is a better coaching staff, you're saying the Eagles are going to beat themselves. You're not saying the Commanders are going to beat the Eagles. So, I think this comment is perfect for the vibe of this game. I think this is a game where you look at it on paper, like you said, talent versus lack of talent. It shouldn't even be close, but what makes it close is Nick Sirianni and the doubts around him. This is another great comment. The biggest thing they're saying.
This is what I brought up on Turf Talk, talking about this Commanders team that everyone's rah-rah before they even lost to Pittsburgh, 7-2.
One Hail Mary from being a 4-loss team.
From being the Bears.
Yeah.
At home.
The Bears.
At home.
Yeah.
That's the problem, man. I don't think Jaden Daniels is fun to watch. He's phenomenal, and he's going to have a great future in this league.
Absolutely.
Stop trying to sell me on the fact that the Washington Commanders are ready to go and compete for an NFC title, anything of the sort. They're not there yet, and I think that's the realization that I'm coming through, not just from that point, but, I was texting you earlier, do I want to just lay the Eagles spread or hammer the money line or do they score enough? I was going to lay the Eagles team total, just throwing that out there. When I looked into what the Steelers were capable of doing on the ground and controlling the clock, I just started thinking, man, what if we win 24-13? We don't have to score in the fourth quarter. We're running the ball a lot. So I stayed away. I went money line, and that gives away my game pick. Obviously, I think we all know we were both going to take the Eagles later on in the show, but yeah, that covers defensively, man. It's all about stopping the run and how you attack Jaden Daniels and keeping an eye on him and not letting him extend because he can do it with the best of them, even this early in his career. Nick Sirianni, stay the hell out of the way. And now let's get to the fun stuff, man. The offense. Jordan Mailata back at left tackle tonight. We were missing him. Dallas Goedert got his feet wet in Dallas. We were missing him. All these guys, the offense finally, I believe, is 100% healthy tonight. And we're going to get to see it on a short week against this Commanders team. First and foremost, I don't think I need to say this as a key. It's the obvious. Run the football at 2-6.
Yeah.
Run the football to 26, and you will have great success. Scotty, floor is yours. That's it. It's that simple. They're 28th against this. They're 25th against this. They're 26th against this. They stink at defending the run.
Yep.
You are the second or third best team at running the football. Pound the rock. I don't want to see 14 on the field for 4, 5, 6 plays in a row. No. I don't want to see 14 on the field after Saquon runs them down inside the 10. I want to see 26 feature tonight. He wasn't used a lot last week. They didn't need him to be.
Yep, saved him.
Save him for tonight.
Yep, I completely agree. At the end of the day, like you said, this is the 28th ranked run defense in the NFL. All you need to know, it's a bottom 5 run defense in the NFL. They give up a lot of yards. I pulled up Pastor Rim's comment from earlier. 1,400 rushing yards the Commanders have given up on the ground in 9 games? Or excuse me, 10 games.
10.
Excuse me. So obviously that's up over 100 rushing yards per game, and now they get to play, at worst, the second best QB running back duo in the NFL. At worst, I'm not sold on the other two being better just yet. They've been better so far this season for sure, but I think it's a lot closer than what people may imagine. But nonetheless, you're talking about one of the best duos in the NFL in the backfield. Obviously, Jalen Hurts has 10 rushing touchdowns this season, but that's not even the big point. We know he does the brotherly shove up and down the season, man. It's just ridiculous at this point. But what we've been able to see this season is that Jalen also got his agility, his quickness back. He's able to get out into the open field,
somehow
make
even dealing with an ankle injury, apparently.
He's able to run through players too. I don't know if y'all saw that truck stick at the goal line last weekend, but he knows how to run too, man. And what I am interested to see, because I completely agree with you, this is a 25-30 touch Saquon night, and the only reason that he wouldn't get that is if we're blowing them out. Do they stack the box like the Dallas Cowboys did last weekend? Because the reason I asked that, the Dallas Cowboys actually have a better setup to do that in reality. I don't think that the Commanders' secondary is good enough to deal with that. I don't think they're good enough to pack the box and let AJ out there on one-on-one, Smitty out there on one-on-ones.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't afford that.
Exactly. And that's why when Howie Roseman, getting spammed by I don't know, some live stream for the game tonight, but when Howie Roseman constructed this offense in the offseason and paid Saquon Barkley and added him to all these weapons already, that was the vision for a game like what you're talking about. With how Saquon Barkley has run the ball through 9 games this year. Go ahead, stack the box, and leave AJ Brown on the outside. Leave Devontae Smith on the outside. Leave Dallas Goedert one-on-one with a linebacker. Do it. Because that gets me to my final key tonight, man. Yes, they need to continue to establish their identity, which is running the ball. It's their greatest strength versus the Commanders' biggest weakness on defense. Don't be stupid. Don't overthink it. Run the ball and feature 26. You didn't have to overuse him last week in Dallas. But this is a Jalen Hurts night for me, man. I know you want to drown out the noise. Maybe you don't watch ESPN. Maybe you don't watch Get Up and First Take and everything. Maybe you don't listen.
I think he does. I think he does. He wants to know where that bar is at.
10 games into his young career, and Jaden Daniels is already talked about in higher regards than Jalen Hurts. People, former players, analysts, people that have covered the sport for a long time are saying they would take Jaden Daniels right now today, not just to build around, but to go win one game more than they would Jalen Hurts. Okay. Jaden Daniels is a mobile quarterback. Jaden Daniels can run. He's a dual threat quarterback. Okay. Jaden Daniels can push the ball down the field. Okay. As much as this is feed Saquon Barkley and do not overthink this tonight, this is a Jalen Hurts game. And not a Jalen Hurts game in terms of 300 yards passing and 3 touchdown passes. No. This is similar to last week. This is feed 26, run the football, but Jalen's 17 of 23 for 240, passing touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, protecting the ball.
Let's get back to that no turnovers. Yeah, correct. Let's get back to that. And I think he will. Honestly, I was glad that he got that out last weekend, right? Because it would be 6 or 7 games now that he's gone without a turnover. Once that starts to build up, it just becomes even more pressure to not turn the ball over. So I'm glad he got that out of the way last weekend. I do completely agree with you, man, because at the end of the day, if Saquon does start to gash them, they're going to stack the box, whether they like it or not, to try to stop the run. And then that's when Jalen has to make his mark, and that's what we've done all season. I wanted to go up here to this comment, man. I don't think so. I think if Dotson scores tonight, I think things are going to the script. I think that we will try to get Dotson a touchdown tonight against his old team because we love to do that shit. Just like last weekend, he got Dallas to score against Dallas. He got Saquon in the end zone against the New York Giants. There was something else this year that he got somebody in the end zone. I can't remember what it was, but there was some other narrative that we were feeding into this season as well. So, no, I think if Dotson gets in the end zone, which – by the way, I am going to sprinkle it a little bit. My man D-Rab, shout out to him. He definitely got me hip earlier. Just put the thought in my mind. I'm going to put like $10 on it. It's like plus $7.50 or some shit. Pay out like $75. I'm just throwing some change on it. But it would be so on par with Nick Sirianni,
1000%.
with the Eagles organization
1000%.
and everything they love to do in big spots.
You know what'll be on par? Getting like within like the 8-yard line, lining him up out wide, putting him in motion, and giving him a handoff.
Yeah, I can see it already. Giving
him an end around with blockers out in front.
I can see it already.
Former team. But with that said, man, we got things to do. You have to go pick up your lovely wife from work.
Yes, sir.
Let's give our game predictions and get on out of here. Martian, late to the party. Game, what do we got? An hour and a half about till the game starts?
Yes, sir.
I already told you I laid Eagles money line. I'm going to lay Eagles spread. I have far too many bets and thoughts and ideas and money about and on this game. It's not a must win. I don't want to call it a must win game. If the Eagles
season's
lose,
not over.
And the Commanders are 8-3 and we're 7-3 and whatever. They have a game in hand. We play them again. The season's not over. The playoffs with the division's not out of hand. Nothing like that. But this is a huge game. And I'm not going to say we've taken 5 steps forward, all to take 4 steps back. I don't think it would be that deep of a hole digging yourself back into. But you've beat up on these quarterbacks and these injured teams and these lowly teams. Go beat that team.
Yeah.
That people regard as a top 3 team, top 4 team in the NFC. Go beat that team tonight. Go beat that quarterback that people are talking about. He's better than you, Jalen. He's better than you.
Yeah.
Go beat them. And let's have some fun, man.
This isn't last week, right? Where all the Eagles have to do, all the Eagles have to win or have to lose in that game, right? They win nothing by winning that game against Dallas last weekend in Dallas against Cooper Rush and Trey Lance, right? This week against the Commanders, you get to raise your level a little bit if you get this W. And if you do it handedly, we're going to be having some tough conversations with some of our followers on Turf Talk, man. That's what's going to happen if they beat this team handedly tonight.
1000%. Let's go get a win, brother.
Yeah, let's go get a win. We don't need to give out scores. I don't really care what the score is.
This is not one of those markers where I want or need the offense to score, 30 points, 28 points. This is not one where I need the defense to limit. You win this game. If you win this game 17-16, if you win this game 30-29, it does not matter. Win the football game tonight and take sole control of first place. That's the only goal for tonight, and I think
I completely agree
that they're going to do it. I agree with Martian. I agree with you. Let's go have a night. We'll be live tomorrow. Scotty's lunch break. 12-1 probably will be live, breaking down this game.
Depends how we're feeling in the morning. We'll probably be a little eager to get on if we do what we're supposed to tonight. So, yes, sir. Tomorrow during lunch, we are going to be lunching.
Yes, sir. Guys, for myself, for Scotty, for DSM, if you're new to the channel, make sure to follow and subscribe on all platforms, specifically the YouTube channel. It's the only spot to get your questions, thoughts, comments pulled up with us. Peace out and go Birds.
Go Birds.